welcome to Ease the Load. Coming up on today's show, vocal training to help you cope in the classroom, what we should be wearing to work, and the benefits of improving your body language. The voice is the teacher's most important tool for classroom communication. Teaching all day can put an enormous strain on your vocal cords and be a serious ongoing problem, as one teacher on the Wirral found out. Statistics from the Voice Care Network show that 1 in 10 teachers will damage their voice at work. 20% of patients attending voice clinics are teachers, and 31% of them have significantly damaged their voice.
My name's Hilary Henry, and I'm a teacher at Great Mills Primary. I teach Year 5. Well, my teaching style is normally very enthusiastic. And last year, I had a class that were already enthusiastic and already very lively. And if I tried to use my normal style, then they got too excited. So I decided that I would try to be calm and I would drop my voice. And I think that's the mistake I made. Right, which bit are you confused about? I just taught a normal mathematics lesson one morning, normal numeracy lesson, and I got to about my second sentence and my voice just dropped to a whisper and I couldn't get it back. After a few days, I had to go to the GP. She referred me to a consultant. He confirmed that, yes, the vocal cords were very inflamed, but there was no medical pathology. It was just strain on the vocal cords.
Hilary was then referred to a speech therapist.
I work directly manipulating the muscles in the larynx to try to free up that voice. With the manipulation exercises, what we're doing is working this particular muscle here. So when we're stretching and pulling the voice box down, that's stretching this particular muscle.
When I went to see Pam, she gave me lots of strategies that I could use in the classroom. The first strategy is to explain to the children how important it is for teachers not to have to overuse their voice or wrongly use their voice. And then I thought, well, sometimes the children can't hear me, though, because they're so busy working or their backs are to me. And so I decided, well, how do I get their attention? And so I decided some wind chimes. And I implemented the strategy that if you just hear a gentle tinkle, it just means you're probably talking a bit loudly. So gently take the noise level down.
Some teachers are born with a good instrument, a good vocal instrument, but most people have to have that trained and acquire the skills to be able to cope with the vocal load of teaching. In most teachers' cases, they've had no voice training whatsoever, so that leaves them extremely vulnerable to problems. Often they carry on abusing and misusing with their voices when they don't realise that that's exposing them to a risk of damage. Symptoms that would give rise for concern: persistent episodes of hoarseness or loss of voice, sudden loss in power, a dry, irritated throat. It's a good idea to drink at least 1.5 to 2 litres of water a day. Make sure you avoid smoking, too much coffee, and also avoiding alcohol.
You can take it one step further and enlist the help of a vocal coach. After observing your technique, they can show you various ways to use your voice effectively.
When I get a new client, first thing we do is sit down and talk about their problems. And everybody who comes will have a series of problems that are unique to them, but there are very common problems. And the first thing I do is work on that 60% physicality, but we work not on the voice itself, we work on the whole body, because there's barely a muscle in the body that isn't involved in some way with voice production and good, effective, healthy voice. The first thing I do is a sort of Trini and Susanna, really, which is to look at you as a whole rather than looking straight at your vocal cords. It's about how you use the body within that. Try this one. Now, a lot of teachers might find this difficult to do or be self-conscious because they won't like their teeth. And people who don't like their teeth tend to have quieter voices because they're trying not to call attention to the shape or size of their mouth or the shape or size or colour of their teeth. Because good voice comes from good body use and getting the muscles really working. It's an athletic activity.
This is one of those that's supposed to take away wrinkles as well, isn't it? Lifting up.
And open and let go, and once more coming up and open and let go. And then put your hands on either side of the rib cage like so. Then take a very gentle breath in, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It is such a big part of what we do every day that this is something I'll be really spending a lot more time on. I will do my exercises before I come in now. I will try and move my mouth and relax my arms and get myself relaxed to do it. And I think, yes, it will improve my well-being. I feel better already.
It can be difficult to make the right impression at work. Is it important to wear a suit or is smart casual fine? What you wear can have a big effect on how you're perceived by pupils and colleagues.
My name is Gail Morgan and I'm an image consultant. I run a company called The Image House. I'm a governor at George Street School and I'm working with the teachers here on the influence and importance of colour and colour psychology in the children. As an image consultant, what we do is we help people make the best of themselves. So you're finding out the right colours, the right styles, the right sort of wardrobe staples that a person needs for their lifestyle. As a teacher, I think it's really important that they think about what they wear to work because they are influencing both the children as well as their colleagues. Most children have to wear a uniform, so the teachers should look professional as well. If you're a woman and you're teaching older children, you shouldn't be throwing lots of cleavage around and lots of legs. Inappropriateness for men is be careful what sort of ties you choose. And maybe as a primary teacher, then it's okay to wear the fun ties, but no Bart Simpson as you get older. One of the aspects that I cover is colour psychology, which is about finding out what other people's perceptions are of a colour and then having an understanding of that. For example, black. Black is a very slimming colour and is constantly sold as such to everybody. But it can be quite overpowering. If you're wearing a black from head to toe, as a teacher, certainly on younger children, it's a bit intimidating, it's a bit aloof. The kids aren't really going to warm to you as much. And if you wear black with white, it's very authoritarian. And again, if you want children to empathise with you, they're not going to do that if you're standing there looking like a policeman.
I often wear trousers to work because obviously more practical, usually black or grey. Sometimes a skirt, usually a longer skirt, because again, it's more practical. Often blacks and greys and things, cardigan and jacket, and usually a top or a shirt. What I have noticed is that if I do wear brighter colours, I don't tend to stick to blacks and greys. I do keep their attention a bit longer. When I thought about colour psychology in teaching, really, I know what a lot of teachers have used it for is like display backing. You'd often, especially in the infants, see a lot of primary colours like red and blue and yellow and the sort of brighter colours, which makes the children more interested. So in that respect, I think colour psychology has been used for quite a long time. In terms of clothes, I know that teachers aren't necessarily aware of that yet.
What I'm doing is I'm comparing very strong blue-based colours with warm-based colours. And we're looking at Emma's features, so her hair colour, her eye colour and her skin tone. That strong pink is fantastic on you, it really livens up your face. She doesn't look as healthy in that colour as she does in that. Think about the clothes that they've worn in the past and the colours that they've maybe had compliments in. This red is great on Emma, you can see she really shines in that colour.
I like Mrs Hardy wearing red and black. I like seeing Mrs Hardy in a pink, sort of light pink. I like the best pink because it's bright.
I think it's worth trying colour psychology, especially because trying to dress professionally, a lot of people do tend to wear black and grey, and I've been known to wear, you know, a black jumper and grey trousers, and can affect actually the way you feel without realising it. So if you do add a bit of colour, if you feel better, then obviously it should have an effect on the children. So I would say it's worth trying, definitely.
We've already established the importance of voice and dress sense in the classroom. But if your body language isn't communicating the right messages, all your hard work on the way you sound and the way you look can go to waste. And we couldn't have that, could we? Meadow Community Primary School has opened up its doors today to Susan Quilliam, body language expert, to find out how well a Year 6 teacher is communicating in the classroom.
Body language forms 93% of what we communicate, and teaching is all about communication.
I think it's very important for teachers to be aware of their body language, and I try and be as aware of it as much as possible.
Body language can communicate and create a relationship with students that makes them both like and respect a teacher.
By observing the lesson, Susan can assess the ways in which a teacher delivers lessons. engages the pupils and manages behaviour, and then give advice to make communication with the pupils more effective.
So one of the things you do really well, Louisa, is you use position in the classroom. So here is where you give out your information.
How many places are we moving them?
But you also keep the students' interest by walking. You know, you walk and talk at the same time.
15 over 21 in its simplest form.
You relate to the whiteboard.
We've got to find what 1/8 of 24 is first.
And you also walk into the classroom. You use your space very well. You walk round the back, you patrol down the middle, and that gives the students not only something interesting to relate to, because they're watching you, it also makes them aware that you could be anywhere. So, if you like, there's nowhere to hide.
Yes.
You know? So they are on task the whole time. The other thing you do is you use level. When you're giving instructions, and particularly when you want a class to do what you've told them, you will stand tall. You know, you will pull your shoulders back and you'll pull your head up.
Yes.
But when you're talking more one-to-one, you will round your shoulders and you will often, you know, reach out and touch. You'll reduce the distance. When a child is sitting, you will come down to their level. And you very much create rapport by doing that. You can see the children responding to you. Of course, one of the good things about body language is that when you use it well, when you stand tall and you bend correctly, and if you're kneeling or squatting to talk to a child, you're doing that effectively. It's much more healthy.
So you said to yourself...
So another body language element you use is gesture. And the one I particularly noticed was whenever you are talking to the students about something that's happening inside themselves. So you say, think this through for yourself, or work this out for yourself. You will typically use a gesture which points to them. Or this double-handed gesture. So you're getting them to concentrate on what's happening inside themselves as opposed to what's happening outside themselves.
I didn't realise I did that.
You reserve your best smiles for best behaviour. And you really reward the children by giving them your best smile. But you did have a wide range of expressions, from quite serious, when you're expressing a serious point, to much softer, with much wider open eyes, when you were inviting comments, inviting answers.
Yes.
Body language allows you to communicate better. It allows you to read the students better. It allows you to teach them about body language and so resource them.
I found today very useful. It's been particularly useful really thinking about the way that I use my body and body language within the class, things that I have been doing but haven't really been as aware of, and from now on I'll be more aware of it. And also I think I'll try and share some of these things with colleagues.
Ideas there to help you ease the load. Remember, if you are feeling the strain and you need advice, the Teacher Support Line is free 24 hours a day. Call them on 08000 562 561. See you next time.